Previously on the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolved.
But look, Bruno, you can kick this home scene. He doesn't move a muscle.
Can't go around kicking the exhibits, Iris. Wait. Oh, this bit was a bad idea. And now back to leg kicking people. Hello, NicoB. Back with some more of the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. When we last left off, we completed our investigation and checked out Madame Two Spell's wax museum, which, by the way, you guys did clarify, and I had kind of a feeling this was the case. Yes, it was based off something that actually existed. Madame Tussauds wax museum. And I was like, that's what I heard that name from. It sounded familiar to me. Like, I knew that this was like a thing that existed, but I couldn't tell, was this some play on some real life thing? And yes, it was. Now, I will say, I don't know how much the actual like stealing and like the knocking out of that dude who, by the way, yes, we had seen that man before. He was actually, in fact, the foreman in the McGundle trial. I knew it. I knew we'd seen him before. I don't know if that's actually going to amount to anything. I don't know if that really matters. I feel like it might just be a sort of a ploy or a play in order to like sort of hide whoever it was, whatever they looked like, the person that killed or seemingly killed Van Zieks' brother. So I guess at least, but then again, we did get introduced to Madame Two Spells, and is she going to have a part to play in this case? Is she just here for the wax museum thing, or maybe play into stuff later? I don't know. It was sort of like that part where we actually went to the museum did feel slightly like a random aside in a lot of ways, but as we all know, in Ace Attorney games, there are no such things as coincidences, right? Everything's gotta mean something, goddammit. Unless it's just fucking old bag or Larry coming in and fucking everything up just to be assholes. And I will say, I feel like there's gonna be a second investigation, because I feel like we really didn't learn a whole lot, honestly, from this one investigation section. I just feel like there's gotta be more. I mean, granted, we'll of course learn a lot more during the trial itself, but like, I do not have anywhere near a fucking full picture of what the hell was going on with this case. Like, I have no predictions. I don't know what's going on, man. I thought that we would get introduced to the engineer that supposedly had created this device, right? Based on the specifications by Professor Ding Dong Harebrain, but we never actually met them. So I don't know. Might just be waiting there. We have a crossbow that was used for something. Maybe somebody shot the machine and fucking blew it to bits. Still gotta wait on what the autopsy shows too for the body. I would imagine like some kind of implosion or collision with a fucking hard object at like 1 billion miles per hour. Oh my God. Body literally exploded. Well, we swept up all of his body parts and have him here for the court to see. The prosecution wishes to submit this as evidence. Oh, can we not please? What am I supposed to do with this jar of shit? Oh God. But yeah, this is an interesting one. I don't know where they're going with this. And even if we prove it was an accident, right? I still feel like the guy would probably still get charged for something, right? Maybe not murder, but still like an accident that resulted in the death of somebody, which he is saying that, yeah, I still deserve punishment of some kind. You know, it's not like he's totally getting off scot-free here. But anyway, last episode, BIC Violet said, Nico, could it be McGundle? Picky Ping was, Nico, he's dead. Is that the pawnbroker from last game? Picky Ping was, Nico, he's dead. Shit. Oh God, I completely forgot that guy died. I completely forgot that guy was the victim of the last case of the previous game. Honestly, I could not remember. I was like, oh, right. Yeah, he's not alive anymore. He ain't coming back. He ain't gonna be in Ace Attorney 2. Great Ace Attorney 2. I mean, seemingly though, right? Maybe it is. Maybe the masked man is that guy, despite him also being quite obese and not really matching to the body shape and specifications and age of the person we saw. But you don't know, right? Anything is possible, okay? Like I said earlier, there is no such thing as coincidence. I mean, hey, it could be freaking McGundle for all we know, right? I wouldn't be surprised if he made some return in some way, you know? Because he did just kind of randomly vanish in the last game. We don't really know what happened to him. But I had you go there for a second, didn't I, Penguin? I had you go. You're like, oh my God, what? That's right, I can play this game too, motherfucker. But anyway, BIC Violet, thank you so much for your, yeah, that comment is Yeah, and if that reason you are, comment of the day. I'm not forgetful, you're forgetful. But all right, so we're gonna hop into this trial here. Actually, now I think about it, I'm looking at this down here. It says investigation part 1. Yeah, this is gonna be part 2. I think that's how this works. I think normally if there's gonna be a part 2 investigation, they wouldn't say that here because it says trial part 1, not part 2 trial. So yeah, there's probably be another one, but right now I am very much in the, I don't know where this is going. So let's go ahead and see where this is going. Ooh, I already like this though. Seeing Van Zieks and his fucking past coming into play here. Potentially his brother's fucking death or something involving something. And the fact that one of his pals from the college days is actually gonna be on the stand. I'll be curious to see how hard in is Van Zieks gonna go this time, you know? Will we see any kind of marked difference in his prosecution in this case? October 23rd, 8:52 a.m., the Old Bailey defendant's antechamber.
I can't believe it's been 6 months since I was last allowed to work in court. And now here I am, back at the Old Bailey.
Once more.
Oh shit, I'm not happy to be here. Ah, Mr. Naruhodo.
Good morning, Professor Harebrain.
I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. The atmospheric pressure in here is off the charts. I've never felt anything like it. This Reiatsu, this fucking demon energy, I can feel it. This must be Van Zieks' awesome power, his aura.
What?
Is that scientific?
No, it's just super anime and defies science. It's crushing me.
I feel it every time I'm here. That gravity.
Well, this is Britain's highest court. But are you telling me it's fitted with some devices that can actually control air pressure?
Ooh! God damn. Okay, so now I can see this full animation of his without the bars in the way. And god damn, is it still just as painful looking as it looked in the jail cell?
I think it's probably all in the mind.
Yes, well, you won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm counting on you in today's trial to not let me die to save my life. To save the secret of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine from being made public.
Yes, I understand. I know what I have to do. I have to kill Van Zieks.
Wait, no.
I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident.
Well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, really. Justice will prevail. And all that.
My commiserations, Mr. Naruhodo. You appear to have been lumbered with a most tiresome case here.
Hello there, I'm actually here early today. Mr. Holmes, I didn't expect to see you here, so much so that I didn't know who the hell could have possibly been talking to me.
That was very mean, Bruno, leaving me alone at home with Holmesy.
I always leave you guys home alone. You guys live together.
It took me at least an hour to wake him. Is it? Are you Sherlock Holmes?
Indeed, sir. I am he, Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, I've heard all about your exploits, even whilst living in Germany. Yes. Franz Magazines on sale in Germany, too. I'm so very good at translating.
This month's installment was sublime. Your deduction in the adventures of the Silver Blaze was wonderful. Yes, a memorable case indeed that I remembered nothing about. It concerned a snake, I seem to recall.
No, that was the speckled band, you silly Billy.
Yeah, he never remembers any of them.
Well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate your support. I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay.
Oh.
I've urgent business at Madame Tuspel's.
You mean your waxwork job?
No, the waxwork abduction, of course. Madame has engaged my services.
Oh. Huh. Okay, so so seemingly this is probably gonna tie into this in some way. Somehow.
So you're trying to get to the bottom of that ransom note, are you? The week's wages depend on it, as does the safe return of the waxwork, naturally.
I don't suppose it's something like really crazy, like they took the figure that was in the wax model and somehow like switched the guy out. Pretty sure that would come up in the autopsy if they're like, my God, he hit this, he collided with this wall so hard, his body melted. Oh, blah, blah. Keep it together, Billy. This is just fucked up, man. What the fuck? What's this country coming to, dude? I don't know, man. I'm trying to think how this could possibly tie into this.
The week's wages depend on it, as does the safe return of the waxwork, naturally. As such, I tend to give it my undivided attention. Oh, well, never mind then. I understand. You do you, dude. Of course, with my skills of observation and reasoning, resolving the matter will be as easy as proverbial pie. I shall return forthwith. For until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description.
Oh, then you must absolutely give it your full attention, Holmesy, and if you don't, I'm gonna blast you.
Quite, Iris, quite. But life is riddled with irony, you know. Whenever I give something my full attention, I have quite an insatiable desire for a pie. One of the universe's intractable mysteries, you might say.
You're much weirder in person, I imagine.
Oh, yes, quite, definitely, absolutely. I totally understand whatever it is you're talking about.
Someone a little starstruck. I wish you the very best of luck, Professor Harebrain, or whatever your name is.
Why, thank you.
Before I depart, Mr. Naruhodo, a word in your ear, if you please. What's this about? You're going to lose today. What? I found the murder weapon in his back pocket. You're fucked.
What? No, I'm just joshing you. All right, bye.
As you're remarkably little grounding in science, I feel I ought to inform you. As compelling as this super high voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, a practical implementation such as was attempted by the professor of the Great Exhibition is quite impossible. But the professor said the demonstration was a success. Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it was.
I've read Professor Bunnybrain's papers about it too, Bruno, and I have to say, I'm sure it can't be done. It could barely be done theoretically, let alone practically.
So he's completely barking up the wrong tree? Great. But how can an experiment that had no possibility of succeeding in fact succeed? That's contradictory. Oh, he's just delusional. That's also a possibility. And it's that contradiction that will be at the heart of the trial, I've no doubt.
I wish that guy didn't explain to me how it was a success. I'm like, how was this a success? And it just doesn't even answer. He's like, oh, you know, what's that supposed to mean?
Now I must hurry along. I wish you the best of luck, my dear fellow.
See you later, Holmesy!
All right, I'm out to go find the best pie ever. That's what I was doing, right?
Well, it looks like you're on your own today, Bruno. But chin up, you can do it.
Are you gonna be my sidekick today, Iris?
Yup, your silly little Billy sidekick up here with her funny little bob head.
I like it. She's still got her little aviator outfit on. I think this might be her go-to going out and about outfit now.
Oh, what about you, Iris?
I know, I'm afraid I can't help. I have something I need to do.
Oh, what? I'm gonna be up there all by my lonesome?
Oh, come on. I'm gonna be as lonely as freaking Van Zieks is every trial.
Hey. Damn it, he's right. I see.
It's going to be a big surprise for you when you find out what it is.
Oh, are you gonna go like pick Suzu up at like the fucking harbor or something? I bet.
That sounds ominous. Counsel of the defense and the defendant, get your singular solitary booty in here. Okay. Court's about to be in session. Make your way to the courtroom at once. I am British Commander. Hear me. Yodel. We're on our way.
Yodel-hee-hoo.
It's not even a British pastime. Get out of here, you weirdo. Okie dokie. Experiment the laws of science can't possibly succeed. And the scientist is convinced that it did. That's the riddle you have to unlock here, Ryunosuke. That's the key to this case.
Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, I actually have a feeling that Suzuto, she's going to go pick up Suzuto probably, right? And then Suzuto will probably join me for the latter half of the trial. She'll probably come in fucking with the saving grace, or I'll be like, I'm totally fucked. Suzuto's like,
Wait a minute, Naruhodo, what about this thing?
and I'm like, oh fuck, this thing, I forgot this thing was in my inventory. Shit, thanks Suzuto. Boom! October 23rd, 9:10 a.m., that Old Bailey courtroom. Who we got we got some new people. Oh, fuck, we had a fucking ton of new people. I think I saw one familiar person. I swear to God, I saw like 3 or 4 new people. They're like old gents or something. Like they're from the club of the epically bearded,
which I am also a part of. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are sitting today for the public trial of Professor Albert Harebrayne. What an unfortunate name. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
I am vengeance. I am the knight. I am ready for trial. The defense is ready, my lord. Oh boy, I'm 6 months out of practice. What's more? Hi, bye.
I can't remember that meme, you know, that meme of that one dude who's like, just like the peace sign and then like fades away. Peace out, I'm dead. I don't even know what that's from, honestly. I don't know what the source of that is. It's just like, the dude just like, peace, and just fades away. That's what that made me think of.
That's Susu-san today. I'm screwed. We all know she's the one who does most of the heavy lifting here. Ah! It's just my imagination. Just the air in here feel even more oppressive than usual.
So, I must say I recollect the victim of this case all too well. Mr. Odie Asman, odious man.
Mr. Asman was well known as a financier, though that was merely a front for his diverse of criminal activities.
It was only a month ago that the man appeared in court prosecuted by you, Lord Van Zieks, and he's already dead. Damn, you work fast. But the jury unanimously found him not guilty.
Because every member of the jury had been bribed, by the sound of it.
Hope it's not the same guys that are up here right now. In which case I might need to open up my incredibly empty wallet to see if I can't scrounge some fucking dust out of there.
These powerful Lennon criminals are prepared to go to extreme lengths to keep their freedom.
But 2 days ago, on the 21st of October, Mr. Asman met his end. The work of the Reaper, was it?
I don't know nothing. If that is how your lordship would describe divine retribution. But the fact remains that Mr. Asman's death was a direct result of the actions of the accused, Professor Harebrain.
Very well, then. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people. Are the 6 of you ready to fulfill your societal duty?
Wow, holy shit. Okay, this guy's got some new folks here. Actually, is everybody new up here? Maybe they are. I thought the lady to the right of him was someone we'd seen before. All right, let's try to come up with some voices here.
I'm most gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civic duty, my lord.
That sounds all right. Oh, no, we actually might have a totally different cast here.
To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh Goldie, it sends shivers down my spine.
Science experiment. Oh my god, okay, he's a fucking magician. What the hell? Okay, sure, why not? Science experiments, magic, conjuring tricks, cauldron trials, all are nothing more than performances. Oh my god, it's Winston Churchill.
Any spurious scholar that defiles the reputation of science deserves to hang.
Damn, okay, scientist.
What the heck? We have to listen to what's said on both sides of the fence and settle on one. That's it, isn't it?
What the? Who let this little British baby in here? And her corn cob. Wow, apparently there's no age restrictions to who could be on jury duty. Oh, there's the guy. Okay, I was like, is there nobody up here that's going to be in any way related to... Oh, wait, no, there's the guard guy from before.
I wasn't like this in my day. I wasn't like this at all.
Well, I can already tell we're going to be in for some fun shenanigans today.
That's the police killer Ottermole lookalike? Again. And he's as exhausted as ever, it seems. Great.
Now, as I'm sure you are all aware, all you hilarious people are aware, the incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at the Great Exhibition shortly after its opening.
Though the death toll could have been far worse, with the exception of the victim, no one was killed. Nevertheless, the dream of the science being exhibited rapidly turned into a nightmare for the spectators.
A tragic turn of events, and as such, the eyes of all London, no, of the whole world will be on this trial. It is our duty to reach a swift and just conclusion, I feel. So, your opening statement, please, Lord Van Zieks.
At the heart of this incident is technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world.
One of science's latest developments, I take it. The government is keen to capitalize on the great exhibition to improve Britain's technological advantage.
The technology being demonstrated by the accused was described as super high voltage instantaneous kinesis.
Good lord, that's very wordy.
I don't know what this shit means. It's designed to disassemble human subjects using extremely high voltage electricity and beam them instantly to another location where they are subsequently reassembled.
Is such a thing even within the realms of possibility? Well, I don't believe it, that's for sure.
Disassembling people with electricity? My goodness, how shocking.
Their whole idea is absurd. Their hypothesis would never stand up to scrutiny. Sir, I believe you are a fellow of the Royal Society, are you not? An expert in your field. I am. If my word on the matter can be considered final, instantaneous kinesis is poppycock.
So, this expert and Mr. Holmes are in agreement? It's impossible. Great.
What is the prosecution's view on the matter?
The prosecution would assert that the accused's instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a success.
What?
Oh, what's rot?
that was cute. His little beaker exploded.
Order!
The professor's hypothesis is currently under investigation by the British government. If it is deemed to have merit, a substantial research grant will be made available. The accused made use of the invention built on his new hypothesis to take Mr. Asman's life, in order to be the sole benefactor of the grant. But... This disastrous demonstration was no accident. It was carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim.
Thank you, Lord Van Zieks. The prosecution's stance is clear. But you will now bring forth witnesses to substantiate your claims.
Gladly, my lord.
Okay.
Cape's coming off. Bailiff, show the first witness to the stand.
Okay, alright, I'm on it. You come over here, you weirdos.
Hey, how's it going?
Always with the fish and chips, Gregson. Always.
Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court.
Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. I was on duty at the demonstration on the day in question and in charge of the following investigation.
Albert Harebrayne, scientist.
You were born in England, but have been carrying out research in Germany in recent years, correct?
Yes, that's right. After graduating from university here in Britain, I went to work in Germany and made an amazing discovery, which is what brought me back. I did demonstrate my incredible hypothesis at the Great Exhibition.
What you demonstrated was incredible, all right. An incredible explosion.
But the science was a success. The instantaneous kinesis worked. Everyone saw it. They must have done. Yes, there was the terrible accident, but the demonstration of my hypothesis was a success.
Well, there's the body.
Well, that much is undeniable, as shown in this photograph taken by the forensics investigation team.
He looks like he was shot. Just got a big blood splatter.
This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it. The centerpiece of the exhibition, no less. That's right, my lord. Sees the victim rammed straight into it.
Ow.
I see. Very well. Submit the photograph as evidence.
A photographic print of the victim taken after he had ostensibly been beamed to the Crystal Tower shows an apparent stab wound to the chest. Could it be a crossbow wound? Let's have a little look-see.
Ooh, it's a big boo-boo right there.
Okay.
As court heard, the victim of the incident was Mr. Hody Asman. There have been a number of allegations made against the man. I'm putting them aside for the time being. He was the man who financed the research for the experiment and the demonstration itself. I see. So to summarize the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of the man who funded his work. Would that be correct? Exactly.
But couldn't it be that the explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration? Didn't he sign like a waiver or something?
That's right. That must be it. My splendid machine. My poor splendid machine.
You saw it yesterday, didn't you? I can't even examine the wreckage thanks to the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act.
What? The wreckage? The wreckage?
But that being the case, how can the facts be established? How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or a deliberate and malicious act?
Extremely simply, my lord.
I beg your pardon?
Isn't that right, witness?
What? Sorry? Me?
No, your neighbor.
Yes, sir. It was murder, plain and simple. Anyone can state that with complete certainty.
What? How can he possibly think that?
Thank you, Inspector. I think we had better proceed to the formal testimony. You will explain to the court on what grounds you claim this experiment to have been a front for murder.
All right, let's hear it. A front for murder.
The corpse that went crashed through the Crystal Tower had a broken neck.
I had a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection, that's all. That was a mistake.
But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where he'd been clearly stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fellow's the only one who could have done it.
Okay.
Extraordinary business. In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart.
Fuck. This guy had a rough day. Information I would really like to have heard from someone other than the judge.
God, why am I always the last one to hear this shit?
The coroner says the death would have been all but instant for a wound like that.
You could say, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused.
No. That couldn't be further from the truth.
I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted to the security team. The victim stored himself inside something called the birdcage, ready to be beamed instantly.
Poof.
To the second level of the Crystal Tower, about 25 yards away.
The experiment did not go according to plan, however. As the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion. The blast caused the beam transmitter to point higher than intended.
Woo! Oh boy.
Accordingly, the kinesis resulted in the birdcage materializing in midair,
Ow.
from where it was subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the Crystal Tower's large round window.
My word, one assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower then.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. The machine was just too powerful. It was just too much demon power for one man to handle. But honestly, really, I swear, it was just an accident. A terrible accident.
Unfortunately, that excuse can't save you.
No, not considering the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart.
Murder weapon? What are you saying?
Oh, is this the screwdriver we saw before?
This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution would like it entered into the court record.
Your request is granted, counsel.
The autopsy report of the victim, Mr. Asman, his neck was broken from the impact of a violent fall and he was stabbed in the chest with a sharp object.
I was there in person, you know. I saw the whole ludicrous performance. And the only other person on stage with Mr. Asman was that disgraceful excuse for a scientist.
Then really, by all counts, it must have been him.
Hard to think otherwise, really. Very well. Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination, please.
Oh, yes, my lord. Let me have a look at this real quick. Odie Asman, age 47, nationality British, time of death 21st of October, around 2:20 p.m. Coroner Courtney Scythe. I wonder if that's significant. Is that shown up in previous autopsies reports? Were they actually the name of the person? Cause of death. Hemorrhage of a wound to the chest that pierced the heart, inflicted by a sharp implement. Additional observations. A broken vertebrae, most likely resulting from impact or a sudden fall from considerable height. Ow.
I need to focus here.
Woo! It's been a while. Ow! Fuck, I didn't miss doing that. All right, here we go.
Bring it on, Van Zieks.
All right, I'm front for murder.
The corpse would crash through the crystal tower had a broken neck.
Hold it. Are you suggesting that's because he fell from a considerable height?
Exactly, which highlights something else about this whole rum business.
Okay, by the way, you guys informed me of something. So apparently in the first testimony, if I press the person on the left, you guys weren't specific, which I do appreciate. Person on the left, you. If I pursue with them, they apparently do an animation that is literally not seen anywhere else in this entire game. So let's see it.
Excuse me!
Professor Harebrain, are you hiding something from the court?
Ha! It's far.
Ow! What the fuck? What the hell? Ah! What was that? Did you just eat the paper?
I was calculating the neutralization coefficient of electrical charge required for electrolysis of a human subject. I have to keep the result a secret at all costs, you see. That's why I ate the paper I did my working on. But now I've completely forgotten the number. Dear me, I am a scatterbrain sometimes. A harebrain, in fact.
Well, moments before you ate the paper, you did yell at the number 4.
No! You know it? You know my singer coefficient? Oh dear. Oh no, this is bad. Oh my goodness.
Perhaps you could just focus on the testimony? So, oh my God, that fucking animation, dude. What the hell? So he doesn't do the animation anywhere else where he writes down on a blank sheet of paper that consumes it? Wow, that's a lot of effort to put in for just that one gag. Maybe they meant to use it someplace else, so they just didn't find a good place for it. I just couldn't find a good place to use eating paper animation. Okay, let's go back to what we were talking about.
Oh, so else about this whole rum business.
What's that?
The fact that the instantaneous kinesis itself was a success.
Ah!
After the explosion, the cage with the fella inside suddenly appeared out of nowhere in midair. So although the experiment ended in disaster, the so-called instantaneous kinesis did actually occur.
Remind us, Professor, what was the cause of the fatal disaster?
I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection. That's all. That was my mistake.
So the angle of projection is critical, is it? And you calculate it yourself, personally.
Absolutely. The calculation is far too complicated for anyone but me to carry out.
Only, you got it wrong, didn't you?
Yes, that's right. That's the point. The calculation is so complicated, even I can make a mistake.
Do people fall for that brazen confidence? I should try it.
I took into account the subject's height and weight, the wind direction, the ambient temperature. I considered every possible variable, so I just don't understand how this ever happened.
Obviously, then, you had to include the weight of the clothes Mr. Aspen was wearing at the time, I suppose?
Ah! Crackling comets. The answer should have been 3!
So much for safety first. The 3 must be for safety third. Waka waka. But the postmortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound.
Hold it! Another fatal injury, you say? That doesn't make any sense!
I didn't think I'd have to spell this out, but here we go. Just because there were 2 fatal wounds doesn't mean I'm saying the victim had 2 lives to lose, does it?
2, right?
Obviously, at first, we thought the bloke had died due to his spine stabbing in half as well.
But you're saying that's not the case.
You'll get your answer once I finish my fish and chips if you don't keep butting in every few seconds.
No, you won't, dude. That fish and chips we've already seen is infinite. It will never end.
We all know that's a bottomless bag. The victim plummeted 30 feet into a glass tower. It would be reasonable to assume that as the cause of death.
Right. That's what we all thought. It was a red herring, wasn't it?
There was a lesion in the chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp in the heart. All right. What was it?
The defense knew nothing of this crucial information. The prosecution received this report from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense.
Sarcastic and insincere. Thanks.
So, what was the nature of this sharp object? Among the accused's tools that were in use at the demonstration, one is of particular interest.
Yep, this.
Ah, yes, that would appear to be some kind of a screwdriver, wouldn't it?
There he is. My trusty little companion, Andrew.
Andrew? Of course.
Do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends, like all my tools. I've named them all, you know. We're all one big happy family. So happy, so happy. Andrew is my flathead screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead.
Well, it would appear that your beloved Andrew has a red stain on his shank.
Oh, shit.
That isn't... It's blood, beyond all reasonable doubt. No!
That's not all. The long, sharp shape of this Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's wound.
Okay, well, that's unfortunate.
What?
Order! Order! The court will enter this friend of the defendant as evidence.
Ain't your friend anymore, motherfucker. Professor Harebrayne's trusty screwdriver that he's named Andrew. There are traces of blood at the tip, and it matches the shape of the victim's wound.
So one of the Professor Harebrayne's tools, the murder weapon. Let's have a little look-see-doodle at it. This is blood, Mr. Asmus, no doubt. This is the problem with looking at murder weapons.
That all I gotta say?
I've seen this unusually shaped handle before. It's the same screwdriver that was lodged in the grill on the floor of the kinesis machine, which could be important information. So I should definitely make a note of it.
Metal screwdriver was found poking through the grill on the base. Reminds the kinesis machine has a very distinct handle. Okay. You know, it's interesting. The fact that I don't have Susu up here, and I'm really thinking that like midway into this trial, or well, after this first part, that she'll come back. I would not be surprised if I should like go back and re-examine some of the evidence again while she's with me, because she might have something new to say that I didn't notice. At least something to consider. All right. Great. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fellow's the only one that could have done it.
What grounds do you have for saying that?
Ha! You really need to ask. There were only 2 people on that public experimentation stage in front of the whole crowd.
The victim, Mr. Odiasman, and the accused, Professor Harebrayne. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive.
That's right. I saw him with my own eyes.
Furthermore, following the explosion in kinesis, nobody went anywhere near the body.
In other words, only someone else on stage with the victim could possibly have done it.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me.
Professor Harebrayne, do you have some information that may be relevant here?
Man, those little fingernails gotta be down to the fucking nub at this point.
Professor!
Sorry. I was just calculating the optimum coefficient of electrolysis to separate molecules of the human body.
And the witness stand is the best place for that? Seemed as though you might have something to say about Inspector Gregson's last remark.
Yes, that's right. Of course. He just said that nobody else could have done it, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Who else gonna stab the victim, eh?
I don't know, but there's no way that I could possibly have stabbed Mr. Asman, as you say.
Eh?
Explain, please, Professor.
Of course, this cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, but I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals, with blood running continuously through the veins.
I ain't hurt.
Totally unfazed.
Then surely you see, if I plunged something the size of Andrew into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath, no, a blood swimming pool.
Yeah.
But thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time, and yet not one of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood.
Well, nope. I suppose not.
You see, not one.
True, I didn't say anything like that.
Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument.
Okay.
Order! Order!
Blood like my wine. Pray forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop of my hallowed chalice to accompany my old friend's abducing. Here's to you, Albert.
Oh, you're too kind, Brock. Permanent our patch on you.
Garbage.
No, you're not.
No?
You've neglected to mention one crucial possibility.
I have.
A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound.
Ah, of course.
Inspector, enlighten the court, please.
Yes, sir.
Where are they going with this?
What, leaving it in his body?
Very well, you will amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson. The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body whilst he was beamed through the air.
Oh, okay. But we saw that that's not the case.
Yeah.
You say that while the weapon remains in the body. There's very little bleeding. Is that unequivocal?
Look, there was no blood on the experimentation stage, even though that's where the fellow was stabbed. The only explanation for that is that the screwdriver was still in his body, stopping any heavy bleeding.
It's called the medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world.
Are you guys referencing last game? You guys referencing the... I see what you did there. Suzuno suddenly feels a chill back in Japan. She's like, whoa.
Yes, but about this screwdriver. The thing is, we actually saw it at the scene ourselves on the experimentation stage. What? It was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through a metal grill. I went to pick it up, but the detective here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson?
Well, I come to mention it, yes?
Inspector, are we to understand that you permitted the defense counsel to investigate? That you contravened the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
No, not at all. I wouldn't do that. I just let him look. Nothing more. That was very clear he wasn't such a thing.
Yes, that's true. The screwdriver was in plain sight on the stage. But it shouldn't have been, should it?
What are you getting at?
If the tool had still been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine, then it shouldn't have still been on the stage. That's right. It should have been beamed across the Crystal Tower along with Mr. Asman. And been found still lodged in the victim's chest.
Order! Order! How do you explain this, Inspector? I don't...
It looks as though everything that the victim had on his person moved with him when he was beamed. If the screwdriver was still in his chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred, obviously, that should have been beamed to the destination as well. It's a strange situation. Even though people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place. All right, time to tighten the screws here with my own screwdriver. My lord, if the prosecution is unable to explain inconsistency in his argument, we can only conclude that the testimony given in support cannot be relied upon. Lord Van Zieks is stumped.
Whoa, dude! Damn! That was some Moshe-Rige-ass fucking hold it right there. Hold it! Jesus Christ, the guy went in.
Did you have something to say, witness?
Oh God, is he about to fucking... he's gonna... All in the name of science, he's about to fuck himself here.
Yes, I knew it. It bears out. The equation holds. Mr. Naruhodo, don't worry.
About what?
Without delving into the details, there's no inconsistency.
Oh God damn it, dude.
What?
Even if Andrew had been lodged in Mr. Asman's chest, my trusty tool wouldn't have moved. Andrew remaining on stage is consistent with my calculations.
What?
What?
Oh, you big dumb doofus. Oh my God, no.
Whoops, how clumsy of me.
Oh, dude, fuck, what? Ah!
It would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly we should hear the accuser's explanation. Or should I say, this brilliant scientist's explanation.
Yes, brilliant, right.
For fuck's sake. Just when I found inconsistency in the prosecution's argument, why you gotta do this to me, Harebrain, you fucking asshole? Scientist. Fucking scientist, man.
Very well, the defendant will testify again. Provide us with the scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold.
In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord.
Apollo! No, that's a different game.
In the name of Apollo and in the name of justice.
Oh boy. The inconsistency explained.
To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states that the kinesis cannot transport metal, though. Hence the metal weapon would have stayed put. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. Mr. Asman was the patron of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together.
So is there anything in this image here that indicates... No, no, that doesn't line up though, man. He's the glasses on his face. Are you telling me the metal, that's not metal there? He's got dangling from the glasses as well as the literal rim between the glasses. Yeah, that doesn't work.
So, the thrust of your testimony, Professor, is...
That based upon his hypothesis, metal objects cannot be moved by this method of instantaneous kinesis.
In other words,
since the screwdriver is made of metal, even if it remained lodged in the victim's chest, a subsequent discovery on the stage, despite the victim being found elsewhere, is not an inconsistency.
And therefore,
Professor Albert Harebrayne could still have been the killer.
My great hypothesis holds, you see. We had to make the cage used to contain the subject from wood for that very reason.
I was not addressing you, witness.
Professor Harebrayne.
Yes?
Whose side are you on here, dipshit?
I don't take sides, Mr. Naruhodo. No. My only interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I'm a scientist, after all.
I swear to God. Is he working for us or against us? It's very hard to tell. Let's see how you cross-examine this testimony, my Nipponese friend.
Yes, fire away, Mr. Naruhodo.
Okay, I think I see where already the hole is. So let's see. To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data. My research states the kinesis cannot transport metal, though. Hence, the metal weapon would have stayed put. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't consistency at all. That was working would have been possible. Is this enough to work with?
Objection.
Yep, there we go.
Professor Harebrain, you say that according to your hypothesis. Nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Spot on. Exactly correct.
In that case, I'd ask you to have a look at this photograph that was taken at the scene. In particular, I'd like you to pay attention to the victim's face. You can clearly see that Mr. Asman is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim.
What? Metal? No. Metal can't... That's not... Metal? No!
We've already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found on the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted that outcome, it should also have predicted that the metal rim spectacles would be found in the same place.
Ah! My hypothesis! My hypothesis!
Professor Harebrain, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed.
Ah!
Order! 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 Counsel, what is the implication of this?
If on the day in question, the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage. And in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit.
But my hypothesis is sound! I proved it that day! The experiment was a success! The experiment was proof of all my work!
Objection! If I could say something here, my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society. Yes, sir, number 4, go ahead. As a man of science, there's one thing I simply cannot abide. And that's a fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science.
What? Wait! Great Scott! Great Scott! Are you suggesting my science is suspect?
Yes, it's just been disproved, hasn't it? It's in front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration that was a complete nonsense from start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud. I say the wreckage of that machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined.
No, never! That machine is the essence of my entire hypothesis! It is protected by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act!
What the devil is that blasted act all about, eh? Who made us such a draft rule?
I don't like the way this seems to be going. What's the best way for me to help the professor?
Raise an objection, wait and see. I'm gonna wait and see, honestly.
Maybe I should watch and wait for the time being.
My feeling is that the machine requires a thorough examination.
But what about this special dispensation that's been mentioned? Oh gosh, this is all too much.
If it's determined that the machine itself was the murder weapon, I think you'll find that the act won't apply. Of course it was the murder weapon. Anyone could see that as plain as day. So you're all in agreement, are we? The machine should be stripped.
If I don't do something, they'll...
Objection, okay, I had to do that one anyway. It's almost always, whenever you have a choice between doing nothing and raising an objection, it's literally always raise an objection. I honestly can't think off the top of my head many instances where it was wait and see.
Professor Harebrain is yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes. But even so, what? Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public. He would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing.
Objection!
He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money.
If the government was foolish enough to have deemed a man's ridiculous notion plausible, he and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed.
Conspirators?
What would be the value of such a grant? 10 pounds?
You're in order of magnitude out, madam. £500 a year!
Oh, y'all could live handsome in that much for years.
No one's questioning this little child being up here in the juror seat.
The scientists noticed an increase in bogus public demonstration of the field of science recently. And plenty of scientists argue with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People's greed is plenty motive enough for murder, I assure you.
I guess a little ding every time she gets to the end of her little corn cob like a typewriter.
No! I haven't deceived anyone, least of all the government. My hypothesis is sound. The science is sound. Please, you must believe me.
Objection!
No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success.
Barack.
And therefore, the only person who could have possibly have committed this murder is the accused.
Barack.
Where's his head and goddamn doodly? I had no idea! My lord, if I may.
Yes, Lord Van Zieks.
The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand.
New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement?
They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition who were occupying special seats. Eyewitnesses?
Very well. The court grants the prosecution's request. I should very much like to hear from eyewitnesses to the incident.
The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no pastiche. The accused killed the financier victim there on the public stage before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend. Oh, yes? It's time for you to make your own stance clear. There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I could definitely see that. But where does that leave me?
We shall take a short recess now, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand.
As you wish, my lord.
Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes.
Oh, we getting a to be continued? Oh my God, we did! So, oh, it's slightly, maybe a little early. Yeah, this is gonna be kind of a shorter one. Wow, it's not very often we get a to be continued that's actually on the kind of the shorter end. Well, I mean, it's not like super short. It's not like it's 30 minutes or even 40, I think. I imagine when I cut it down, like right now I'm recording and it's a little over an hour, but I imagine when I cut it down, it will likely be probably less than an hour. Probably like 50 to 55 minutes. So it'll definitely be a shorter episode, but it's not unreasonable. Not enough to where I feel like, oh, I should start the next part and then just like stop it. Because what am I going to get? I'm going to get probably maybe 5 minutes of talking outside the courtroom, and then we'll get inside the courtroom, and then that would probably a nice sized episode, but it'd just be weird. Let's just fucking wait, all right? It's fine. Keep your pants off, Pinky Penguins. We're gonna have to save this shit for freaking next time. But anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like and a favorite, and subscribe for an already become Pinky Penguin. I'm boy this LP, where the days are always sunny and the vids are always funny. I do not know where this is going at all yet. I really don't. I imagine we'll be introduced to some new people, right? That are going to get brought to the stand, unless it's like Gina or something. It's like, oh yeah, Gina was in the audience too. Which actually, did they say Gina was actually in the blimp overhead? So she actually might be brought up to the stand. But I feel like we gotta get some additional other people that we have yet to see, right? I don't imagine it's something like fucking Madam Two Spells is somehow the fucking killer here. I don't know exactly how that shit would work. Or maybe it's the unconscious man on the floor from the museum as well. Who knows? I have no idea. And let's be honest, if you're watching this blind, you don't fucking know either, right? Don't you fucking demon lie to me, all right? Don't you fucking lie to me. But anyway, guys, as always, till next time, stay classy.